Let's begin. Thanks for being here. So we'll make a potent connection to our breath. This has nothing to do with force or effort. It has much, much more to do with the calling of our attention, our feeling awareness to task, if you will. So making a whole body decision to feel. And so the range of feeling and sensation within us is so broad. So just as a reminder and an on-ramp for us, let's just give ourselves some categories so we know where we might want to work today. That level of sensation, impulse, it's like the pressure of the ground and our buttock, the weight of our arm, there's that quality of feeling that is more emotional in nature. This would be more like the mood or the emotional weather. You might also be sensing more energetically into fatigue or alertness, energized, groggy. It'd be more of an energetic weather report. If we remain connected to our breath, we can touch into all those domains. We can touch into the physical body and explore changes and shifts in the physical body, the muscles, the bones, the joints, the organs. If we stay connected to our breath, we can potentially make shift through the emotional substrate, through the energetic substrate, mental substrate. We're going to work rounds of Kapalabhati, and we'll follow that up with rounds of Uddiyana. Let's start this off on a right over left. I'm going shoelace, but know that that's changeable. I'm going right ankle over left knee. If you need to make this more cross-legged, optional is using the fingertips to provide a bit of pressure, downward pressure, so that you can take some of the weight away from the organs. It might enhance sensitivity. Kapalabhati, we'll do about 40 pumps or so, 40, and then I'll just bring us together and we'll continue from there. So when you're ready, Kapalabhati, short, sharp exhales, tip of the nose, low belly. Here we go. Okay. So now all together, just for a moment, let's close eyes. And as you're connecting to your breath, and that sense of interiority, that sense of this internal wilderness that you call your bodily experience, where does this breath need to go? This next breath, where in your body does it need to go? And when you're ready, with your next inhalation, guide the breath, allow that part of your body to receive this breath. Hold. And now we're learning what this area does with the breath. Does it absorb it? Does it reject it? Does it warm up to it? What's that interaction like? Bring the hands beside your legs or in front of your shins. Swift, thorough exhalation, exhaling from that area of your body. Stay empty. Draw the belly in, back, and up. And this Uddiyana can start to touch, connect, even move that area you've called to mind. Release. Come upright. And take 1 to 2 breaths again into your area. If you're still settling into what area am I working with, just close eyes and just keep questing. The wonderful thing about this work is it's okay to have a need, and it's really okay to be able to serve it with our own practice, with our own identifying, our own action, our own empowerment. I need something. Oh, let's go there. All right. So again, what area is in need of this next breath? And when you're ready, inhale directly into that area. And studying how that reception occurs. Hold the breath. Soften the area, allowing that breath to be absorbed. Bring the hands forward, swift, thorough exhalation. Stay empty. Draw belly in, back, up. And letting this suction, this drawing quality of Uddiyana start to, like an astringent, let it start to draw from that area. It starts to move in there. When you release, we'll come upright, we'll switch sides. We're going to do that whole series again. There's a real interaction in this interior wilderness. So 40 pumps Kapalabhati, and then on your own, 2 rounds of Uddiyana. So you're going to take yourself through this round. When you're ready, here we go. We're studying this interaction between breath and area. Do they connect? Do they intermingle? And when you're complete in that, just 2 more deep breaths into your area. So it's just one little region of this wilderness that we're playing with today, or playing in today. So. Okay, we're going to get into side bend a little different today. We're going to use lounge, lunge, lizard. So I'm setting out my right leg, hip, and my right hand. I'm using the edge of my mat, so I have a nice straight line. Because nature always occurs in perfectly straight lines. That is a joke. But what I've got is the right side of my body kind of draped, the right side ribs draped. The head can rest on the shoulder if that feels fine to you. And I've got my left hand out in front, just like a little kickstand for balance. Pressing through the right heel, inhale, into the right waist. So this is that area between the hip bone, especially just above the hip bone, right up into the rib area. It's a little... Now start to engage that right leg more deeply and more thoroughly. And I mean that in a muscle way. I'm engaging the quadricep, pressing the heel out, making leg long. Just giving breath a few moments to stroll right through this entire right side, around the lung, up into armpit area. So this is what I do from my hand, not my forearm, but I think everyone's up on their hand. Okay, if you start to engage the glutes, the buttock, you'll angle into that waist a little differently than if your buttock is disengaged, relaxed. It's going to be kind of obvious to those of you who do this stuff for a living, but I was just looking at another picture. How the abdominals come right up and meet the chest muscle. They come up really, really high. So where the chest is, that's where the abdominals are too. So find out, let's get one more breath right up into that seam where the chest meets the abdominals. This is muscle meeting. Release. We'll bend knees. We'll switch sides. Left heel, left hip, left hand aligned. Flexing feet, so pressing out through the heel. Inhaling. Touching, contacting, spreading this left side waist. And then just gradually engaging that left leg, the quadricep, the buttock. That lengthening move when you send the heel out and the whole leg seems to move away from your trunk. And then stretching that breath right up into chest and armpit territory. Letting all of those ribs individuate with movement, with expression. And release. We'll roll to our seated position, and from there, to lying, have a roll or a block nearby. We'll get to it in a moment. And with our knees over our hips, inhale the head and the upper back off the ground. Exhale. Send that left sole of foot away from the left hip socket. And lean elbows just a tad toward that right thigh. Draw, sink, pardon me, the low belly in. Inhale, come back centrally. And when you keep the upper back up, it's so that you can breathe into the lower ribs. Exhale, send the sole of the right foot away from the right hip socket. We can lean our elbows toward that left thigh. Sink the belly in and down. Inhale, bend right knee. Exhale, left leg out reaches. Elbows lean toward right thigh. I'm very strongly turning my torso to the right. Sink the belly in. Inhale, bend that left knee when you come back centrally, still keeping the shoulder blades up. Exhale the right leg out. My torso still afloat, turning, leaning those elbows toward that left thigh. And just feel how you're intimating at the very beginnings of a pretty strong twist. Sink the belly in. Inhale, back center. Let's do 2 or 3 more on each side. Continue. You flying solo. So you're keeping that diaphragm moving as your torso turns. For many of us, there'll be a little hitch. Either the breath will feel like it gets snagged or stops, or the movement may get a little expedient or stopped. Those positions and those moments where we almost like hold our breath, those are really interesting. How do we bring breath into those moments? To me, they feel both like a location, a position that I start to get into or exit. Usually there's a degree of effort that's associated with a loss of breath. So you might try a different degree of effort, softness, strength. But keeping the upper back up until you are done. I challenge you to do that. Grab your prop, whether it's your roll or a block. And we'll go between the legs with that thing. And the legs go straight up. Inhale the head and the shoulders up. Squeeze each leg inwardly. Exhale, lean those elbows off to that right thigh, even right of the right thigh. Drawing the belly down, the entire turning. Inhale, come back centrally. We'll keep the upper back up. Squeeze the object. Exhale, lean the elbows leftward. Drawing the belly down. Inhale, come back centrally. We're just going to keep going to the right and to the left. Squeeze the object. Exhale, lean the elbows rightward. Still exhaling. Squeeze the object again. Reach the legs a little higher, draw the low belly down. Inhale centrally, keeping the upper back up. Squeeze object, exhale, lean elbows leftward. So the legs are pointing up at like 12 o'clock and our elbows are reaching over to like 11 o'clock. Increase the squeeze on the prop. Reach the legs higher, draw low belly down. Inhale, come back centrally. Squeeze object. Exhaling the elbows rightward. Be like to 1 or 2 o'clock. Lift up through the elbows. Squeeze the prop more. Reach up through the legs. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, come back center. Squeeze the prop. Exhale. Elbows reach leftward. Squeeze the prop some more. And squeeze that left leg into the prop. Reach the legs higher. Draw low belly down. Inhale, come back centrally. Good news, we'll do one more to each side. Go for it. This time breathing into and studying your area. How do these things start to move energy in, around your area? What's the interaction there? Your area is not sequestered from these moves. When you're through, set the feet down, remove the prop. And go directly once again into your area, breathing. Maybe something has started to kind of shift. Right, a blind spot requires a certain way of holding ourselves posturally, energetically, may even require us to hold a certain belief system. And openness requires a certain configuration of body, a certain countenance, a certain energetics. When we turn over and press to half kneeling or lunge, we're going to set our left knee down and our right foot up. We're going to do this before dolphin, so no, we're not forgetting dolphin today. but I applaud the effort in your mind. Easy twisting lunge. Inhale, we go left hand down. Exhaling the right arm up. So option one is leave left knee down, deepen breath. Option two is press back knee up, deepen breath. If you've gone the press knee up route, get that back of leg helping you out. That hamstring, the back of the thigh, lift that hamstring toward the sky. Draw the back of the knee open to the sky. Inhale, bring the right hand down. Set the knees down. Set all the knees down. I'm going to take a knees and hands position. And bend elbows as if setting up for turbo dog. Ensure the hands are shoulder width. The forearms are parallel. Nothing should feel clacky or clicky in the shoulders. If something kind of keeps clacking around, maybe adjust the spacing of the hands until that minimizes or with the upper back broad, inhale. Right behind the chest wall. Exhaling, relax the weight of the head. So you're engaging the chest muscles and breathing backside where the shoulder blades are, back behind the chest wall. We'll take one more breath. So there's pretty good squeeze going on in the chest wall area, the armpit, serratus. Now inhale, step the left foot forward, easy twisting lunge. We'll leave the right hand down. Exhaling the left arm up. Option one is leave right knee down. Deepen breath. Option two is press back knee up. Deepen breath. Now, how do you bring breath to your area in this configuration? I'm going to give like 2 more breath moments for you to explore. How do I make that contact, that connection in my own body, breath, to that area, the address of that area, whether that's around the lung or a hip or an ovary or a shoulder, wherever the address is, how do I feel, experience breath in that area right now? And then inhale, bring the left hand down. We'll set the left knee down, all the knees down. And now we'll set up for dolphin. So elbows under shoulders, forearms out in parallel. And then so that you know, going into this, I'll be cueing us to lift an arm limb and a leg limb from the ground. You don't have to do that. Or you can do just some of it. On exhale, here we go. Knees press away from ground. We're releasing the weight of the head. Often I'll notice a change in our breathing as soon as we enter into this pose, this shape. So connect to that deep breath. Right, with each deep breath, we're spiriting the body. Helping the body remember its undefended, free, unbounded nature. So, we're going to start taking limbs away from the ground, and we'll start with the right elbow. You might want to leave the fingertips near the ground. You might want to take the hand behind the back, your pleasure. And if you're also taking a leg limb from the ground, we're raising the left leg. Those of you who got into that lunge situation, use the back of those leg muscles. Open up the back of the knee to the sky. Reach back through the heel and the forefoot. Strong, long leg. There you go. Whoo, so much lightness. We'll set the left foot down. We'll set the right forearm down. If you can stay in dolphin, stay in dolphin. But if you need to reset and to get that elbow in a good place, reset. All right, next part is taking the left elbow away from the ground. Fingertips can support, or you can just take that left hand, put it behind back. If you're working a leg option, right leg up. It can be either or, both and. How adventurous are you feeling today? How protective do you need to be today? Let's go where the energy is. And we'll set the right leg down. The hands, the knees. Just gentle descent. Well, that should get us ready for kicking up into forearm balance, maybe. So we're going to move to the wall. We're working forearm balance. If you're not kicking up into forearm balance, work dolphin on the wall, and you'll lift one leg up at a time, straight up, not splits, but straight up. Let me show you, just to make sure we're on the same page. So I'll say it all over again. We're working forearm balance. If you're not kicking up, I just want to show you the leg position that you'll work in. There's this dolphin at the wall. Straight up, each leg, 3 or 4 breaths. Okay, each leg. So it's a little different than the splits where you try to separate your legs as widely as possible. If you're kicking up forearm balance, If you're not kicking up dolphin on the wall, one leg straight up, the other leg straight up. Great. I'll meet you back in about 8 breaths and do a little window shopping. Give us just a moment more to feel complete, to finish the attempt that we've already mentally begun. There you go. And if you are entirely through, then bring your mat back away from the wall. Oh, good. Let's stand at the top. Chair pose. Inhale, open up hands as you bend knees. Exhale, fold, softening through the neck, eyes. Monkey, inhale, lift chest away from lap. Exhale, we'll step back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale the right foot forward, warrior one. And connect to breath. And then connect breath to area. Wherever that area's address is, you're going to access it from a multitude of configurations. Twisting warrior, exhale the left elbow over the right. Twisting warrior interlock. So moving on, exhale to slide the left armpit nearer to the thigh. Okay. And that might be the amount of deepening twist that you want to do. Thereafter is weaving the left arm under the thigh to link hands. Release hands. Inhale, set the left hand down on the ground, outside the foot, and forward of the foot. We're going directly into a revolved half moon. So inhaling, the left heel hip height. Exhaling, press out through that left heel as chest continues to turn right. Same direction twist. Some people like to put their right hand on the small of the back just to guide and feel the hip position. Otherwise, you can reach that right arm straight up to encourage the twist of the torso. And to really lift that right arm up is fun, could be fun. There we go. Inhaling softly, set that left foot down to the ground, warrior stance. Exhale, bring the hands down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Releasing the neck on the way back. Warrior one. Inhale, left foot forward. And here goes that twisting warrior, exhaling the right elbow over the left thigh. Right elbow, left thigh. Opening up that right back knee to the sky. It's a muscle move. It's a hamstring thing. It's a quadricep thing. It's just engaging that leg. We've been chatting and playing a bunch in the last week or so about how that leg creates a lot of support for the back and also plays a variable role in the organs, the way the organs are kind of held together in that sac. So on your exhale, we're going deeper for interlock, twisting warrior interlock. So start by sliding that right armpit down. And that may be all that some of your ribs or joints want to do, is just snuggling those right ribs right up against that left thigh. And then alternately is the interlocks so the right arm can weave under the left thigh. Good, let's deepen breath right here. How do you bring breath to the area in this configuration? You're not locked out of your area, you're not blocked. When we release the hands, revolve half moon. Inhale, we're going right hand to the ground, outside the foot, and forward of the foot. Raise the right heel hip height. And that left hand, we can go to hip or use it by lifting that left arm up. Encourage that further opening up through the chest. And inhale, bring hands down, foot down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. And when you set knees down, have a seat. We're going to do a move before we lie back. So just a simple cross-legged position will work fine. And take the right hand, fingertips pointing toward the spine. Reach or place the right hand under your right cheek and sit on it. So one is I can press palm downward, straightening, reaching arm downward, and that may be adequate to access this area around the top of the shoulder and the underside of the skull. Two is I may want to tip my head left. And feel for deliberately breathing into the jaw, the ear, the neck, softening all of the structure. Not stretching it, releasing, softening. It's a very different part of our nervous system. I can do or act and make stretch the result, or I can gesture release and continue to explore that depth of body, which is really quite spacious and infinite. You won't find a bottom to it. I haven't found a bottom to it. And those do very different things on our nervous system. And by nervous system, I don't mean brain, I don't even mean heart necessarily, just the electrical and the memory part. How that electrical memory, that learning, the part of us that learns in that electrical way. So I'm going to remove that right hand, let the chin tip centrally, and we'll go to the other side. Left hand under left cheek. It might be adequate to simply palm push down, straightening the left arm. You might need to tip the head down or rightward. And again, if you're just kind of rooting around, like kind of how a dentist kind of goes around with the scrapey thing and looking for stuff to scrape, try this instead. The sensation draws you to the body, and it doesn't matter what the sensation is. For us, it doesn't matter, as long as it's not pain. And then bring your breath and your feeling awareness to bathe that area. And from within the body, gesture release, gesture softening. And by all outward appearances, it looks like we're stretching, but the internalities are so vastly different. They're really not even the same thing. Okay, we're going to leave the chin tipped down. Remove the left hand from underneath you. And lie back for Shavasana. And in moving to Shavasana for our purposes today, feel what you may have started to stir up or lift up or poke about. I was moving some stones the other day in the yard, and the little worms are just wriggling about. I thought it would be too early to see them, but there they were, wriggling, diving back in. When we first started, there was an area of interest. And with our breath, we started to push those stones around. We started to probe and look and feel and notice. And then we brought out the more asana. And we started moving those stones and our body around. Lifting things up, turning things over. So what of that? What have we started to open up in that area? And you might discover that there's physiological shift. Maybe the muscles feel more relaxed. Maybe there's an emotional shift. Maybe I feel differently toward this area that was once felt like a bother or a pain. Maybe there's an energetic shift. Maybe I breathe more easily there. Maybe it feels more alive. Just that we notice. After all of this, does not the body simply want to feel seen, understood, welcomed, heard? Don't all of our experiences want to be seen, felt, understood, heard, known, and so digested? When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side. And press to seated. Namaste.